Hey moguls, it's Dr. T here, and I'm coming to you from my MogulMaking reality creating universe with some upgrades today about the area of authenticity and how this relates to wealth and success. So what we're going to get into is making sure that you are able to be your most authentic self, because that's what's going to get you the big bucks. That's what's going to get you the life that you want overall, and it's going to be about you becoming your best self. So one of the patterns that I want to point out that I really think needs an upgrade, and people on my team are doing this upgrade, I'm doing this upgrade, our clients are doing this upgrade, and this has to do with the fact that anywhere in our lives where we are in relationships where people are not allowing us to be authentic, or we're not allowing ourselves to be authentic, or we're just so used to being inauthentic with someone that even when we go to be authentic, it kind of goes the wrong way, it blows up. This has to do with understanding that if you have anyone in your life where you want to be honest, transparent, it could be your teammate, your coworker, your employee, your partner, but where you just want to be authentic and you are not able to be, that's going to show up in all aspects of your lives, because it's a program running, which is your authentic part of the time, but then your inauthentic part of the time in order to help spare someone's feelings or avoid a conflict. But that's going to show up, right? That can show up on something like a sales call, where it's time for you to be authentic with somebody and share what you're seeing and share what you're recommending. But because you've gotten programmed to be inauthentic with certain people, you're ultimately not able to be as authentic as you want to. And you're potentially, just if you do it anywhere, you can do it everywhere. And you're potentially not putting forth the best version of you that you could, that would help people the best and have them feel the most connected to you. So if there's somewhere in your life where you're in a relationship, you have somebody in your team where you feel like you can't be authentic, it's very, very important to know that there is a significant impact of that on you. There's a significant impact on your performance as a person. There's a very significant impact on your overall capacity for success. And therefore, there's a very significant impact on your overall capacity for wealth, let alone how the other relationships in your life will go. Because if you have to keep shape shifting all the time, then it's a little, it's too many versions of you. And that's a lot of bandwidth. And so I'm really inviting each of you to recognize where in your life you've got a relationship, and it could be the one with yourself, but this is often happening in a dynamic with others, and anywhere where you want to be authentic and you can't, and you are then having to tippy-toe around somebody's feelings rather than be able to have an adult mogul level conversation, right? Because moguls are people who can steward reality really well, themselves and others, and big realities. And this is a really important assessment for you to make, and what the impact is that it's having in your life. Again, I'm giving this example as, imagine you're on a sales call, and there's some very important things that need to be said to a person, but you're so familiar with tap dancing around someone's feelings, tippy-toeing around it, placating them, and having to have all kinds of strategies so that they don't get upset, they don't blow up, they don't push back, reject, and have all kinds of defenses that often go on. That's typically what's happening, is that these people are in lots of defensiveness. They may or may not know that. And so everything that you're trying to say to them can get pushed back on. So what happens is, over the course of time, you don't even realize it, but if you're around someone that's super defensive and you can't be transparent and authentic, you just naturally start to develop all kinds of patterns within yourself to like try to accommodate that, because ultimately we're all trying to keep the tension low. And then that just programs you. And so therefore, even something as clear as how can you have your most authentic life that you're meant to have, where you're just free to be you, you're free to say things, if you can't do that with everybody. And so just tying that to understanding, especially, I'm just going to use this example today because it's present. Say again, the example with sales calls. People want to connect with your real self. They want to have a real conversation. It's so rare for people to be able to have that without so much artifice and inauthentic experience and having to work, rather than just having easy flowing communication and understanding of each other and collaboration. So I'm going to really have you all come to understand, this is your invitation, and start to assess where because I know you all have one relationship where you're having to be inauthentic, and where else that is showing up in your life because you're programmed for that now. And the closer the person is in your life, the more this is a big deal, because we are effectively the what they say is the closest 5 people. It's the closest people we have in our life. We just become programmed as them, literally. All we have to do is think about someone or have them in our life for any teeny period of time, and all of a sudden we start getting programmed by them. And then we just take that on. Sometimes you notice it, sometimes you don't. You act it out. And this shows up everywhere, and it shows up in your bank account. Because when it comes to playing at the big time, when it comes to performing at a high level, when it comes to being a mogul, and when it comes to running an empire and a dynasty, and really that's what I think everybody should be going for. I don't think everybody should be shooting for the bottom of the middle, because we want to go for the thing that is what's really needed, right? We need to be really good at managing a lot of aspects of reality. And even if those things are not your goal, to really recognize the cash register ringing of ways in which, or not ringing, the cash register not ringing, and you not gaining the ground that you're here to gain in success because you're maintaining one of those relationships in your life, or because you need help moving through that process and making a shift in that relationship. And that's why I love all the things that we do in my whole reality company and the various companies and different programs that we do. It is so people can be so authentic, so intentional, so successful, and such a wealthy partner, such a wealthy mogul in business, and such a great reality maker. And this is the other thing, is that this is really important, because if you're here to ascend in your purpose, if you're here to optimize yourself, and if you're here to live out your fullest potential, any suppression of yourself regularly, so say there's someone in your life and you have to do this regularly, will actually impact you on a deep emotional level. Repression creates illness, repression creates dysfunction. And people you're interacting with in every facet of your life, let alone people you're interacting with as you're doing business, conducting business, closing deals, interacting with your team, they will feel that, because that relationship pattern will show up everywhere in your life. And I know this from major experience of being in a relationship with somebody who never let me be authentic, never let me be me, and never let me address things that were important for us to address. And when you recognize what that is costing you on a global level, my invitation for you is to start to make a shift in that area and start to get into a space where you can be absolutely authentic, intentional, and you can start to shift that pattern. Because if we have it, a little bit of it anywhere, we will just have it in our life, and then we just amplify it everywhere. And other people are picking up on that, whether you know it or not. It's very subconscious. And they will feel that something is not right, but they may not buy what you're selling. They may not, like your business likely, if you have this, is not doing as well as it can do. And I just want to invite you to recognize that authenticity is a great success strategy, and it's a very important wealth strategy. It's one of the most important. So think about where you want to make this upgrade to be able to be so authentic in all ways and all places that just easily flows from you and it flows through you. So in all situations, you're just in a flow. You're in a flow state, right? Rather than what can happen when you're used to these kind of conversations where you have to dance around it and you're not in flow. So you then end up as a person that is not in flow. But when you can flow with people and we exchange information easily, and all these other things are cut out, everybody fussing around so much with conversations. I have to fuss so much with it. I have to be nice about this. I have to shift my tone. This and all these things that can be very helpful socially and have their place. That's very different than a deep program where you are, that's very different where a deep program where you are just so ingrained in this that if you take that out the course of a lifetime, you will ultimately be missing out on a lot of opportunity, a lot of success, a lot of happiness, and a lot of wealth. So my invitation for you is to take in this upgrade, and you're going to replace inauthenticity with authenticity and be awesome in authenticity. Okay? I invite you to receive the upgrade in that authenticity is your greatest success strategy. It's one of the most important ones, and it's a foundation for your reality, your company, your success, your empire, and your dynasty, your multi-generational dynasty. It is small, tiny, micro changes like this that change everything in a big way. And I really want you to receive this upgrade. Take it in. And if you want any help with that, click the link below that I've got there and let's have a conversation. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.